Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so this is part 4 of Biden's initial State of the Union speech review. And yeah, he just launched into the militarization issue, and I expect that to be pretty much the remainder of everything that he's got to say. It is always an undercurrent in everything else. So, you can expect it to be all about militarization from here on out. At least that's what I'm expecting. I'll be surprised if I'm wrong. All right, so I'm going to go to this. And okay.
Make no mistake, in 20 years, terrorism has metastasized. The threat has evolved way beyond Afghanistan. Those of you in the intelligence committees, the Foreign Relations Committee, defense committees, you know well, we have to remain vigilant against the threats to the United States wherever they come from.
How about white
Al-Qaeda
supremacist
and
groups?
ISIS are in Yemen, Syria, Somalia, other places in Africa, in the Middle East, and beyond.
We don't belong there.
And we won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today.
White supremacists.
White supremacy is terrorism.
He
We're
said
not going to
it.
ignore that either. My fellow Americans, look, we have to come together to heal the soul of this nation. It was nearly a year ago
Trademark.
before her father's funeral when I spoke with Gianna Floyd, George Floyd's young daughter. She's a little tyke, so I was kneeling down to talk to her
Oh,
so I
God.
could look her in the eye. She looked at me, she said, "My daddy changed the world." Well,
Okay,
That's
let
the
me pause
conviction of
this and
George
skip
Floyd's
past the
murderer.
little homey.
you can see how real progress. The vast majority of men and women wearing a uniform and a badge serve our communities, and they serve them honorably. I know them. I know they want.
In other words, we need police reform. And this is what we're going to get. Praise the police.
I know
What the hell?
they want to help meet this moment as well. My fellow Americans, we have to come together to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people they serve.
Oh, my
To root
God.
out systemic racism in our criminal justice system, and to enact police reform in George Floyd's name that passed the House already. I know Republicans have their own ideas and are engaged in a very productive discussions with Democrats in the Senate.
And, yeah, so as far as building trust between the community and police, he disbanded his police oversight commission that he, made a big deal about creating, and he's not even 100 days in and already disbanded that. So, how serious is he? This is about just, respect the police, respect my authority. Maybe he has something different to say. Just a moment. And the answer is no. He had nothing else to say.
The country supports this reform, and Congress should act.
Congress should act.
We have a giant opportunity to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice, real justice. And with the plans outlined tonight, we have a real chance to root out systemic racism that plagues America and American lives in other ways.
By
A chance to
disbanding
deliver real equity.
the
Good
Police
jobs,
Oversight
good schools,
Commission.
affordable housing, clean air, clean water, being able to generate wealth and pass it down to generations because you have an access to purchase a house. Real opportunities in the lives of more Americans, black, white, Latino, Asian Americans, Native Americans. Look, I also want to thank the United States Senate for voting
Okay.
94-1 to pass COVID-19 hate.
So he does launch into some talking about gun control and so forth, and domestic violence. but most of it is just, empty rhetoric and campaigning, banning of ghost guns. You can't really ban those. That's empty rhetoric. If you've got a 3D printer, you can print a gun. Yeah, okay, so you can't buy kits, but you can print one. There are plans on the internet to be able to print, a homemade weapon. That's like saying, we're going to ban pipe bombs. Okay, so that means I can't run down to Walmart and buy one. Oh, gee, this is garbage. And how many mass shootings have had ghost guns involved? None. Absolutely none. So, yeah. All the people, he's coming for your guns. Your 3D printed, homemade zip gun or whatever. No. So, yeah, there should be an assault weapons ban. He kind of alludes to it, but doesn't actually say it. And so, I would like to see that happen. But I'm doubting it's going to. The interesting thing is that, I'm in the last 10 minutes of this, and they're panning the cameras around the audience, and all you see is a sea of glazed eyes and people actively falling asleep. So the fact that I broke this up into 4 parts was probably a wise choice. Anyway, so the last part is going into immigration reform. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, he talks about addressing the root causes of migration. Keep people in their own countries. But he doesn't talk about, the implementation of U.S. foreign policy and regime change in those countries. That he doesn't address. Yeah, and then he's talking about, protecting voting rights and starts pushing H.R. 1. We already know what kind of poison pills are included in H.R. 1. And if you don't know, then look it up. Look up H.R. 1 poison pills. A very short web search will bring you all the information that you need to know. All right, so in the last portion, he starts going off on some rant about autocrats and they were betting that we were defeated and torn apart, but we all came together, and he goes off on some crap like, this country is completely united, and because under him, one nation, united under Uncle Joe or some crap. And for the record, even on CNN, this video had more dislikes than likes. So that should tell you quite a bit right there. I don't think you're going to find any source where you're going to find more likes than likes for this one, because the right is not happy with it, the actual left is not happy with it, and face it, neoliberals are the minority when you combine all of us. So yeah, we need to unite. You know, the far right and the far left on many issues need to unite. Yeah, just stop using labels, stop using names, and focus on issues. And we can accomplish amazing things. All right? So I'm going to end this here. My end take on all of this is that most of this was empty rhetoric. It's marketing. It's campaigning. As I've said before, he's still campaigning. He is still campaigning. You know, all of his, he's got every one of his trademarks in there. Shots in arms, building back better, America is back. Russia tried to interfere, in our election, absolutely, the American rescue plan, the American jobs plan, the American infrastructure plan, the American toilet paper plan, whatever, the American family plan, that over and over, everything has to be a trademark. That is campaigning. That is not talking about actual issues. And when you're leaving out how these things actually work, you're not talking about how these things, if you're not talking about how they work, then you're not talking. All you're doing is marketing. You're campaigning. You're advertising. That's it. So this was empty. And, there were some good things in here if they are acted upon. As I've said in other portions of this, it all depends on if they are acted upon, how they are acted upon, because some of this could be good, and otherwise it could be very bad. I pointed out all of these bailouts plans that he's proposing are corporate welfare, trickle down economics. The PRO Act. We need a national union. I've done videos on that before. We need a national union. Because as long as we keep on separating ourselves, like what happened in Alabama, and, so unions can be crushed by the corporations, then this PRO Act doesn't mean anything. And it was a very telling point that he was basically silent while all of this was going on in Alabama. That tells me he doesn't have a lot of commitment to it. It's campaigning. It's a trademark. Oh, well, I tried. I put this act in place. The Violence Against Women Act. We already have laws against violence. And, a person with a violent record cannot own a weapon anyway. So what's this bullshit? The Violence Against Women Act. Well, if you have a history of domestic violence, you can't own a weapon. It should be any kind of violence, any history of any kind of violence. You should not be able to own a weapon of any kind. Getting rid of ghost guns. They're called ghost guns for a reason. Okay? I mean, I think most of these ghost guns are, the majority of them are bought by hobbyists that don't really have any nefarious motive involved. An actual criminal is actually going to, like print their own shit on a 3D printer, or, get with somebody that can do that for them. And it's actually not that hard. So, they're, to keep on with all of this rhetoric just does, a lot of harm and gets people all worked up for no reason. It's always, be afraid, be afraid. And, the autocrats. Sounds like, sounds like a kid's cartoon. The autocrats. So leave other countries to run their countries and get our people out of those countries. Engage with them in diplomacy. For me to have friends, doesn't mean I don't have to dictate how they live their lives. I don't have to dictate what religion they are, or how their family interactions are, or anything like that. That's up to them. And that's the way it should be with international relations. Not all this, you will do things our way, or we will, threaten you. We will put gunships off your shore, and, nuclear weapons along your border, and bomb your cities. So, until we're talking about, some of this stuff, this is all just talk. It's all talk. Don't see it as anything else. There's a reason that there were more dislikes than likes here. So, all right, talk about these subjects. Share this video. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. And I will see you in the next one.